Okay, so this is the first lesson in, should say, Unit 8, quadratics, and multiplying polynomials day 1. Okay, so here are your first two problems. So number 1, 2p parentheses 3p minus 1 plus 6. All right, so this is a review to start with, and then we'll learn one new thing today. So to start out with our review, Chuck, what do you think I do with 2p and 3p? Times them. Very good. 2 times 3 is 6. And I'm going to put a p beside it, but it's going to be what? 6p to the... Anybody remember? I put a 1 here. I put a 1 here. So what do I have to do with the little numbers? Add them. So that gives me 6p to the second. All right, 6p to the second. What else do I have to do with 2p? Anybody? Not subtract it, but times it. Parentheses mean to times. So now I'm going to do 2p times negative 1. What's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2, and put a p with it. And does anybody remember what I do with the plus 6? Drop it down. Very good. Now, you always need to ask yourself, is there one more step to do? Right here, can you put p squared and p together? Can you combine those? Are they like terms? No. Okay? So can I put the 2p and the 6 together? No. So this is your answer. 6p squared minus 2p plus 6. Okay? All right, so make sure you have number 2 written on your paper. 4 parentheses 2x plus 5 minus 2x, x minus 1. Okay? All right, Tamara, what are we going to do with the 4 first? By the what? That gives me 8x. Daniel's not here. Jesse, what do I do next with the 4? Very good. Which gives me 20. Okay? So now this part is done. You can mark it out if you don't want it to confuse you. That part is done. Okay? Zaria, what number can you put in front of the x right here? Good. All right. Haley, what do I got to do with the negative 2x? Good. All right, so guys, here's where you have to pay attention. Negative 2 times 1 is what? Negative 2. And it's x times x. What's x times x? X to the second. All right, x squared. Okay, so x times x is x to the second. And then, Andrea, what else do I have to do? One more step. Good. Andrea, what's a negative times a negative? Very good. So this is going to be positive 2x. Positive 2x. All right, ask yourself if there's anything else you can do. Gracie, is there anything up here that can be put together? Very good. 8x and 2x. These two are like terms, so we can add them together. 8x and 2x is 10x. And you just drop down the plus 20, and you drop down the negative 2x squared. All right, you drop that down. When you add these, you absolutely do not disturb the exponents. So, when you're adding, when you're putting them together, you don't disturb the exponents. Here, 8x and 2x is just 10x. You don't disturb the exponents when you're adding. Now, when you're multiplying, what's that rule? When you're multiplying, what do we call that? The mama rule. Multiply the big numbers, add the little. So you got to keep those two rules straight. Okay? All right. Write down number 3 for me. This is brand new. This is brand new. We're going to learn how to do this today. X plus 1 times x minus 4. Okay, look in between these. Is there a plus or a minus between the parentheses? No. So we are multiplying this times this. We're multiplying each of these. We're going to do this. We're going to do a lobster claw. All right? I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take this x and you're going to multiply it all the way over here to that x. So that's your first step. x times x. Okay? We're multiplying. What do we do with the little numbers when we multiply? Add them. It's the mama rule. So x times x is what, guys? 1x to the second. You got to be careful with that today. Okay, so that's what you do first. X times x. Okay, now look up here, please. Now we're going to do x times negative 4. X times negative 4. What's x times negative 4? Negative 4x. Good. All right, so that's one lobster claw, the top. Now we're going to do the bottom lobster claw. So now we're going to take 1 and go over here. So what's 1 times x? 1x, positive 1x. So you put a plus, since it's in the middle. You want to put a plus sign with it. And then your last line you're going to draw is 1 times negative 4. What's 1 times negative 4? Negative 4. Okay. All right. Remember, always ask yourself if there's anything else you can do. Chad, is there anything up here that we can do? Very good. We can put these two together. So you're going to drop down 1x squared. You're going to drop that down. You're going to put these two together. Negative 4 plus 1. Anybody? Good. Jesse, negative 3, and put an x with it. And then drop down your minus 4. So that's your answer. Okay. All right, go ahead and write down the next one. I know this is new. You'll get used to it in just a minute. X minus 6 and x plus 6. All right, so we're going to do our lobster claw. We're going to do our lobster claw. That's because there's no plus or minus in here. So when you got a parentheses and a parentheses, then you're going to do lobster claw. So x times x first. Go all the way to the other one. X times x. Anybody? Good. All right. 1x to the second. So x squared, you could also say. All right. Then you're going to finish your top one. So x times positive 6. What's x times positive 6? Very good. All right. So that's your top claw. All right. It's your top claw. Now we're going to do the bottom claw. So we're going to start right here. Negative 6. And we're going to go over here. Negative 6 times x is? And negative 6 times positive 6. Good, Ethan H. Okay. All right, Ethan G, is there anything more I can do up here? Guys, positive 6 minus 6. Cancels. Cancels. So you're left with x squared. Drop it down. What else do I drop down? Negative 36. So that's my answer on this one. X squared minus 36. Anybody have a question? Okay. All right. Number 5, x plus 1 and x minus 1. All right, Dylan, what am I going to do first? Which is? Very good. Dylan. Ethan H., what do I do next? Very good. Okay, so that's my top claw. Now I'm done with the top. All right, Gracie, help me with the bottom claw. What would I do first? Good, which just gives me positive 1x. So guys, make sure you put a plus right there because it's positive. And Chuck, what do I do last? Very good. So guys, here I'm multiplying. What's 1 times negative 1? Negative 1. Okay, so they don't cancel when you're multiplying. Okay. All right. Chad, what can I do right here for my final answer? Good. I have to put those two together. And Ethan H., what's negative 1x and positive 1x? All right, here I'm adding them. So what's negative 1 plus 1? Cancels. All right, so I'm left with 1x squared minus 1. So that's my answer. Okay. All right, go ahead and write down the next one, guys. Number 6. X plus 9 and x minus 5. All right, Ethan G., what do I do first? Which gives you what? Andrea, what do I do next? Good. What's that give you? Good. Haley, what do I do next? Which is what? And Tamara? What do I do next? After I do 9 times x? All right, Tamara, try that without a calculator. 9 times negative 5. Very good. Positive or negative? All right. And Jesse, what else can I do? What does that give you, Jesse? Yep. And drop down your negative 45 and drop down your x squared. Right? So x squared plus 4x minus 45. Right? Anybody have a question? All right. All right, number 7, write it down, but don't start it yet. Just write it down. X minus 5 to the second power. X minus 5 to the second power. All right, guys, let's take a moment and rehash something. What does it mean if 3 is to the second power? Does that mean 3 times 2? What does that mean? 3 times 3. It means you do it 2 times, okay? That's the same thing this means here. Mark out this 2, and you're going to write x minus 5 again beside of it. So this 2 means to write it twice. When you see a 2 on the outside, you're writing it twice. So it's x minus 5, x minus 5. You have to do that step. You got to write it twice. And then you're going to lobster claw it, just like we've been doing. So, Dylan, what do I do first? Zaria, what do I do next? X times what? Negative 5, which is negative 5x. Chuck, what do I do next? All right, so what do I multiply? Good, which gives me negative 5x. And Gracie, what else? So Gracie, a negative times a negative is a, and 5 times 5? Very good. Okay. All right, guys, you need to be very careful on this one. Which 2 things get put together? Negative 5 and negative 5. Do those cancel? No, 2 negatives do not cancel each other out completely. Negative 5 and negative 5, you're putting them together. So it's negative 10. Negative 10. Remember, it is always helpful to do a chart. Negative 5, line up, add up. So I get negative 10. That's where that comes from. All right, what else do I need to drop down? Good. Thank you, Dylan. All right, so that is my answer. Okay. All right, number 8, m plus 1 with the 2 on the outside. Chad, what does it mean when I see a 2 on the outside? Good. Write it twice. All right, Zaria, what am I going to do next? M times m. Okay. What does that give me? M to the Okay, because you got little ones right there. Ethan H, what do I do after I do m times m? Which is? Haley, what do I do next? And Ethan G? Which is? Andrea, help me with my final answer. What would your final answer be? Well, uh-huh. Very good, Andrea. So she put those two together. Okay. Any questions? All right, last two. Number 9, 2x minus 4 and x minus 7. 2x minus 4 and x minus 7. Last two, you need to write them down. All right, Jesse, what do you think I do first? Uh-huh. What does that give me, Jesse? 2x times x. Very good. To the second. So that one's 2x to the second because there's a 2 in front. Dylan, what am I going to multiply next? Huh? Without a calculator, Dylan. 2 times 7. So it's going to be negative 14x. Okay. Tamara, what do I do next? Which is? How do I write it? Positive or negative? Negative 4x. Okay. And Ethan H, what do I do next? Positive or negative? Good. Okay. All right, and Jesse, what would my final answer be? Good job, Jesse. Once again, you can do your chart to put those together to help you. All right, and the last one, number 10, 3x plus 5, negative 2x minus 1. All right, Dylan, you're up. Without a calculator. Thank you. What do I write beside the negative 6? Thank you. All right, Chuck, what next? Yep, which is? There you go. Tamara, what else? What does that give me? What do I write beside of it? Good. And Ethan G, what do I do last? Which is? Negative 5. All right, and my final answer. Haley, what would my final answer be? Very good. Okay. Any questions?